Hear that? Nothing? Me neither. But that's the perfect spot for your company's name to step into the spotlight. Become an underwriter for As You Mic It and let every episode be your curtain call. Slip a note to podcast@pashakespeare.org for more information.
You're just like at the coffee shop, like, good Pilgrim, can I get a latte?
Welcome back to As You Mic It, the official podcast of Pennsylvania Shakespeare Festival. I'm Jason King-Jones, Artistic Director here at PSF. We're continuing our weekly series, In the Spotlight, where we take a closer look at the artists and productions that make up Pennsylvania Shakespeare Festival's Summer Theater Series. Joining us are two actors at the center of this production, Austin Nedrow and Maya Jean, as Romeo and Juliet. Maya Jean is returning to Pennsylvania Shakespeare Festival for her fourth and final season as a member of the Young Company. Audiences have seen her in productions ranging from The Color Purple to The Princess and the Frog Prince, and many play-on community tours. This summer, she takes on one of the theater's most celebrated roles in Juliet. Joining her is Austin Nedrow, making his PSF debut as Romeo. Austin comes to PSF after appearing on Broadway in The Book of Mormon, along with regional productions across the country and television appearances including Law & Order: Organized Crime. Together, they're stepping into a play that audiences have known for generations and finding their own way into two iconic characters. Maya Jean and Austin, welcome to As You Mic It.
Yes! Hello.
Hi, Jason.
You guys have been not at all excited about getting on this recording. The way we've been setting up all these microphones. You're like, we're going to be on the podcast.
No, I'm hyped. I'm hyped.
I'm so happy to be here.
I'm happy you're both here. I'm going to ask you a question that you're not expecting.
Oh.
I want to know about your first kiss. Because we just did some intimacy rehearsal where Juliet and Romeo kissed for the first time, and it brought back some memories. I'll tell you before you even start. Like, I think her name was Kristen Stewart, and it was underneath the bleachers at a high school football game. And I still remember the perfume that she wore, but I don't necessarily remember what she looked like because it was 35, 40 years ago. But that was my first kiss.
She's listening right now.
I'm sure she is, and angry, very angry.
Ooh, Maya, what was yours?
Right. I don't count preschool, so we're not going to tell that story. But so I was part of like this summer camp, and we were doing Newsies. And the guy I liked at the time, the people playing Catherine and Jack Kelly are singing Something to Believe In, and we are behind the curtain and we kiss.
Oh,
and that is my first kiss story.
What a theater story.
Wow. Theater story. Yep.
Mine is similar to yours, Jason. Mine's a playground kiss.
Yeah.
There was a tunnel like in the playground that was known. I think had been named sort of the Kiss Tunnel.
Oh my.
So it was like it was a big deal in like second grade to have a kiss in the Kiss Tunnel.
Second grade. You know, we knocked out the preschool
Like,
stories, but you're doing a second grade.
I know, mine was a second grade kiss. I think we also got married on the playground. Like,
really?
Sometime later in the...
I remember wearing a tie. It was a clip-on tie, but wearing a tie in kindergarten for Megan, the girl that I wanted to impress because it was her birthday.
Yeah.
And she didn't come to school that day. But I still wore that tie all that half day because it was her birthday, and because I was trying to not be embarrassed about the fact that I got all dressed up for Megan and she wasn't even there.
Mine's a little embarrassing because my sister was actually like maybe 6 feet away from me, like under the slide. Because you know how some of the public schools have, they have like Hildebrand after school programs?
Oh, yeah.
So we were waiting, like we're at this after school program waiting for our parents to pick us up. So she... I don't know how much she knows about this. Maybe she's listening too. Who knows?
She will be now. We're going to be clipping all of this and sending it to family.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's just talk a little bit about Romeo and Juliet. Have either of you spent a lot of time before all of this thinking about Romeo and Juliet? Does this what kind of experience did you have with Romeo and Juliet before you were invited to be a part of this production?
Romeo and Juliet, you have to kind of consider it to be one of Shakespeare's best tragedies. Mm-hmm. So it was something that I was introduced to in high school, in like high school English reading class. Yeah. Somewhere in college, I was able to interact with certain professors and lecturers to really deepen my love for the language. And then that's where Romeo and Juliet sort of came back into life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then at least to prepare for the production, I was looking for a couple, I went to the Lincoln City Archives to watch.
Lincoln Center?
Yeah. There, I found a production with Cynthia Nixon as Juliet.
Really?
That's in the archives there. That was great. And tried seeing a couple other just live recordings, whether it was like BBC or through the National Theatre from the UK.
For those of you who don't know, Lincoln Center has archives of they've recorded for decades Broadway shows, and you can go to Lincoln Center and kind of sit there in like in a screening room essentially, like and listen and watch on tape to watch the archivals. You can't take them with you, but you have to sit there and watch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No phones.
Nope.
For me, I've always had this perception of what I thought R&J should be, and I never really revisited Shakespeare since high school until I got to college.
Okay.
And as far as like the work for the R&J we're doing, I just spent a lot of time with the text, and I'm not a person who like searches up productions and like watches other productions.
Mm-hmm.
Like I like going into things with my own point of view.
Yeah, not let your process be diluted by or influenced rather by what other choices other people have made. Yeah. Now, both of you, I mean, you talked about being in a theater camp, my Gene, and Austin, I know that you have a theater background. Can you kind of tell us about first theater experiences? Do you know like how far back does that go?
Yeah. I began theater actually on a dare from my sister. She had done the high school production of, we were kids, and she did Sound and Music at our high school.
Okay.
She got me into it. The next year, they did a production of Music Man. So I would have been in like 5th grade.
Oh, wow. Okay.
As like a kid acting in the high school.
Okay.
And I thought, it must have been really easy. So she said, well, you go at it, you do it. And that began many years of child acting in central Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Because there's so much theater in Pennsylvania and in that like sort of area where I grew up in Lancaster.
Okay.
But first theater experience, I would have been like 11 or 12 playing Winthrop in The Music Man with my sister as Amaryllis. Yeah.
Have you acted with her since?
We did, a couple productions, there at that age, but it's not since childhood. Yeah.
All right. My Gene, what about you?
The first show I ever did was Once on This Island. I was 6 years old, and I was part of this same summer camp from like 6 to 13.
Okay.
I was just like engrossed in theater by summer camp, but also like my mom. And years and years ago, she was the educational outreach director here at PSF.
Yes, she was.
Yes, she was. And
she was the first Willpower tour, right? She was a part of the first
with
Willpower
Father
tour.
Schubert.
Yeah.
Yep, indeed.
Wow.
And she also helped run the children's program at Paper Mill. So I was always there and engrossed in all theater from a very young age.
So then 4 years ago, when you started in the Young Company, did you ever think you'd be playing Juliet this soon?
No. No, I did not.
Since you've had some time kind of knowing that you were going to be playing Juliet, like how have you been preparing for it?
Yeah, I've learned my pattern and what I need to work on, and it makes me be able to clock those things easier. Also, I think having a lot of time with the text has also helped me memorize all that she has. And my process is really sitting in it with myself outside or on a walk or just in places that I feel calm in. Helps a lot. Yeah.
I love that too. I feel like it's great to see the text in just different parts of your day, whether it's like doing laundry or
and like being
cooking.
active with it.
Yeah. Finding ways to let it live in moments of the day.
Right.
Gives you a way to kind of come in and with lots of variety and sort of a sense of openness to where the scene could go.
Can you give me an example of anything, like any kind of like routine you were doing where like, and there's certain text that's just kind of like bubbling up from your
I'm
mind?
Goofy in the way of like, okay, I'm
Tell
like,
us, Goofy.
I just want to make sure I'm reciting something in a day.
Yeah.
So I'm like, someone would be talking to me and like, okay, the conversation ends and I just start saying some of my lines.
Like what?
I did it with Gallop Pace the other day and I think I did it to Jameer. He was just like looking at me and I was like, I just had to say that.
I had to say Gallop Pace, you fiery footed.
I just had to start reciting my lines to you because why not?
Yeah. I'm butt softing lots when I get off the subway.
Oh yeah.
And I'm walking back to my apartment and it's like the sun is setting or it's at night and I'm looking up at the apartment buildings in Washington Heights and I'm speaking to Juliet.
Yeah. And you're saying but soft but light through yonder window breaks.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes.
I do it a lot with Good Pilgrim too.
Really?
Yeah. I'm just like, if I just refer to you as Good Pilgrim right now, then I'll just go into it.
You're just like at the coffee shop, like, Good Pilgrim, can I get a latte? Yeah.
Since we have the two of you and you do know the text at this point, I'm just wondering, can we actually get a little
sneak peek?
Yeah, a little sneak peek.
Yeah.
Can we do the sonnet? Can we do
Yeah,
that?
if I profane?
Yeah, can we do that?
Let's do it.
Just do it with the words.
Yeah, let's go.
Audiobook style. If I profane with my unworthiest hand this holy shrine, the gentle sin is this. My lips, two blushing pilgrims, ready stand to smooth that rough touch with a tender kiss.
Good pilgrim, you do wrong your hands too much, which mannerly devotion shows in this. For saints have hands that pilgrims' hands do touch, and palm to palm is holy palmer's kiss.
Have not saints lips, and holy palmers too?
I, pilgrim, lips that they must use in prayer.
Well then, dear saint, let lips do what hands do. They pray, grant thou, lest faith turn to despair.
Saints do not move, though grant for prayer's sake.
Then move not while my prayer's effect I take. Thus from my lips by thine my sin is purged.
Then have my lips the sin that they have took.
Sin from my lips? Oh, trespass sweetly urged. Give me my sin again.
You kissed by the book.
Yay!
Yeah.
Thanks
Come
for
see
that.
R&J.
Thanks for that preview. Romeo and Juliet is the greatest love story, and we cast two people who've never met each other and throw you two into a room. What's it been like working with each other? How have you developed a kind of process of trust and playfulness to really kind of find these roles yourselves?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's been so much fun.
It's been awesome. He's a lot of fun. We love this thing called social media where we were able to find each other before actually, working with each other.
Okay, so what surprised you about Austin, or what did you learn about him that made you really happy to be able to start working with him?
Musical theater major.
Musical theater, yeah. We both have that
theater.
background, yeah.
Yes, I was like, okay, you Mish, and I saw all he's doing, and I was like, okay, Vacation Swing for Book of Mormon, like this dude's really cool.
The dancing, the musical theater, the singing. I think we have a lot in common.
Mm-hmm.
Just in part from having similar backgrounds there in the education of it all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But my Jean's also just a really cool human being, and I was like making a big effort there at the beginning of rehearsals to like find times to like go get pizza in Allentown.
Yes,
or
we got dinner.
We
had a pizza date.
had a pizza date.
And
nice.
yes.
What about my Jean surprised me the most? She's really funny. I think that was what surprised me the most.
Sense of humor.
Yeah, she's got a really great headshot. And I'm looking at this headshot and I'm like, oh, this is really sophisticated, serious person.
Well,
She's
thanks.
so funny. She's so funny. She cracks me up all the time.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So in the process of developing a romance and creating these stories, there's a lot of intimacy that's required in this.
Mm-hmm.
And we just actually finished some intimacy rehearsal work with Kim Carson, who's our Director of Education and Community Engagement, also running our intimacy coordinating for the plays.
Yes.
Help our audience understand what's that process like, how specific are we having to be with this? What's the process like of starting to tell the relationship story of this while also letting Maya Jean stay Maya Jean, letting Austin stay Austin, and having space for Romeo and Juliet to have their romance and letting that be separate?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the word that comes to mind is play for me. What do you think?
Yeah, play indeed. And just in terms of how that process is going, like specificity is something that we really dived into today.
Yeah.
And finding those moment to moments with intention, just blocking out like the amount of time for things is important.
Yeah, I feel like we're able to go into those rehearsals and like put on like a different cap, so to speak. And and when we get to moments of intimacy, what's been so fun is, you have Kim in the room, you have Maya, myself, Jason, you as well, and we're all kind of doing that thing of like the best idea wins, or just like it becomes sort of a okay. Well, what if it's or perhaps or maybe that leads you to this, and then these really interesting, varied, colorful, beautiful moments happen. That if I was just alone in a corner trying to figure this out. That's the joy of collaboration, as we get to come into it and ask questions of each other and bring ourselves and learn so much.
Awesome. Let's just take a moment to also think about playing iconic roles can bring into the room with you some baggage, some expectation, some pressure of having to kind of like live up to some kind of level of expectation. Mm-hmm. Is that something that either of you have been navigating? Have you been talking about it with each other? Or are you kind of just dealing with it on your own? What's going on, Maya Jane?
Yeah, so after yesterday's rehearsal, it was a long day. It was 1 to 8. And I called my mom that night. She was asking how my day was, and I was just talking through everything. And I was like, I'm starting to feel as we hop into Act 2, like how emotionally taxing like Juliet can get. And she said just something very wise along the lines of like, you're not going to have it the same every time. Yeah. You're not going to be as intense every time. And what you sell to the audience isn't going to be repeatable. They're still going to get the emotion no matter like, you know, I don't really know how to like word it, but just taking care of yourself and like that sort of thing.
What I've noticed in the rehearsal process has been so cool is watching Maya show more sides of herself in Juliet.
Aww.
Yeah, I'm glad that you're doing that in the way that you're approaching this. It's been really, 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 really cool and really fascinating just because when you approach text like this, you have to think like, oh my gosh, maybe 1,000 people have probably at some point said these words or played Romeo or played Juliet.
Sure. More than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you have to remind yourself that this is your version.
This is what you're going to do with it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is the thing, and this is what I've told people for years with any kind of role is there is no Juliet. There's no platonic ideal of a Juliet. Mm-hmm. There's the text that Shakespeare wrote, and then there's you. And it's that intersection between the humanity and the soul that you bring to it with that text, and then how you intersect with your partners that then you are making Juliet. You're creating Juliet anew every day, every night. Yeah. And Austin, you're creating Romeo anew every day, every night. And the text is inviting you to step in with your whole soul and your whole self and your fears, your vulnerabilities, your aspirations, your dreams, your wishes. It's inviting you to bring your whole self into it. And then it's in that intersection, in that play where their Romeo comes alive and where Juliet comes alive. And then together, the romance that everybody talks about, that's where all that comes alive. And then you can hug it out and you can go back to your dressing station. You can take the makeup off. You can leave the character behind. And Maya Jane can be Maya Jane and Austin can be Austin. Go get pizza.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. It's an amazing ride.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Such an amazing ride.
What's been hard? What's been like unexpected or just, I didn't know there was going to be a wall there. You talked a little bit about the emotional journey, Maya Jane.
Yeah.
Austin, what's been hard for you so far?
I think the challenge that I have noticed for Romeo, I think is really, it's the same. It's playing the arc of the character. Because at least from where you start at a really low depth in where he is emotionally. And then in walks this amazing angel, this person. And so then that, rises to a place and, the events of the play only grow from there until it just kind of spirals out of control. And then, finding that arc and
sure.
building that, shaping that, understanding that's been the coolest challenge.
Yeah.
And then also what I kind of forget about Shakespeare text outside of the schedule of like a curriculum, like, dance class and going to Shakespeare class in college, it's tiresome in a great way. Like you go in and Shakespeare allows you kind of like to like wring yourself out with the text. And then by the time I get back to the apartments and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm tired. And what I'm realizing is someone's like, yeah, that's because you're doing the work. You're like, you're really letting the verbs speak, the consonants, the vowels. It is all of that.
Indeed.
Yeah, it's the text, and it is the emotional athleticism that you're also talking about. Is that, and that's what Vanessa Morosco from American Shakespeare. She was on the podcast with us earlier this year, and she talks about how actors are emotional athletes. Yeah, and this play certainly is an athletic workout for you both.
Yeah, we're gymnasts, Maya Jane.
Yes.
Well,
you and me.
You're also a dancer, Maya Jane.
Yes,
and you're a musical theater dancer. I've seen you do some pirouettes.
I have a fondue or two, a glissade. Yes. But I feel it. I do feel it every time I get back. I'm like, whoa, in such a amazing way. It is such a cool workout.
Shifting gears for just a second, talking a little bit about just history and time. There are some artists that are here that you've already had a history with, but this is your first time at Pennsylvania Shakespeare Festival.
Yeah.
What was your kind of expectation about PSF, and how is it aligning with what you expected, and what's surprising, what's different for you?
So I grew up in Lancaster, and I've known, of the larger theater communities that exist in Philadelphia, outside of Philadelphia, in Pittsburgh.
Right.
Well, so for context, right, in 2019, I had the opportunity to do a play called The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime at the Walnut Street Theater. And in that production, Ian Peaks and Karen Peaks played my parents. And now I'm so fortunate enough that in this production, Ian Peaks and Karen Peaks are playing my parents as Lord Montague and Lady Montague, you know? And so I had known of the Pennsylvania Shakespeare Festival through Ian, and I think specifically through a summer of Midsummer Night's Dream, where he was playing Bottom, and then my university did Midsummer Night's Dream.
Oh, really?
And I was reaching, I mean, you know, utilizing Ian as a mentor and asking him for advice.
Sure.
And so the festival was always somewhere in the community zeitgeist of like, oh, that would be a really, really cool place to work at.
Yeah.
And it is a really cool place to work at. I think what's so fun is, you know, with these festivals and with this style of repertory theater is you're getting to interact with so many different troupes of actors and who are all on their own awesome, unique journey, and then getting to watch plays as awesome as Piano Lesson, August Wilson, or later in the season, Coriolanus, you know, Jane Austen's great works, $1 Million Quartet. I mean, that's to be in a little pod with all those different people is really, really, really fun.
Do I remember right that you submitted an audition tape on our audition portal?
Yes.
And it was
Do
actually...
you want to know the story of this?
Please tell me the story.
I was hanging out with some friends, and the roommate gets back. He had come back from a callback for Romeo and Juliet at the Pennsylvania Shakespeare Festival for the role of Tybalt. And I was like, oh my gosh, Pennsylvania Shakespeare Festival is doing Romeo and Juliet. This is a play I really want to do. So in that moment, I was like, well, it must be too late. You know, I've definitely, if they're doing callbacks, there's no way that I'm going to be able to get seen or audition for this. So I did. I looked up the like info at auditions at, you know, PennsylvaniaShakespeare.com, sent you guys my headshot and resume, and a little note, and away it went. And then like, I guess 2 or 3 weeks later, I heard back from you for a tape. For these characters.
Yeah, for the record, it's pashakespeare.org, but that's okay. Just a quick fact check. If anybody types in Pennsylvania,
they're not going to find us. They're not going to find that. Yeah.
So that's how you did it. Well, and I'll just tell you on my end, I had not yet found a Romeo. We had been looking for Romeos. I was just trying to be very specific about the kind of individual that I was looking for, and we had also been considering some folks that we had relationship with already, because one of our core values is relationship here at PSF. And so were there any actors that kind of fit what I was looking for and also had some history with us? And those things didn't pan out. So then it was like, all right, time to go to the database. And Connie has put together, this Google form where people submit stuff, and then it goes into these Google folders, and it's just like this sea of headshots. And then there's a folder that's like a sea of resumes. And then there's a form that just has like all actor information, and it's 500 deep. It's a massive spreadsheet that just that has hyperlinks to headshots and resumes. So I remember just sitting on my couch one evening after my family had gone to bed, and just like going face to face to face, just literally looking at the faces of all the guys, going like, do any of these guys look like the Romeo that I'm thinking about, or have the kind of quality just in the headshot? And there was you.
And with a sparkle in my eye.
There was he looks 12. I was like, of course I'm going to consider him for a Romeo. He looks like he still has baby teeth in his mouth.
For the record, I do. I have one.
Oh my God.
That's insane.
The skies parted.
And then I saw then I watched the video, which was like,
I was playing on the guitar.
And I was like, is this guy auditioning for Elvis? So I just wasn't even quite sure what I was looking at, but I was like, let's get this guy on tape. So, and there were a few other people that were a part of that process. It wasn't like only needle in haystack, but that's kind of what it was. It was a bit of a needle in a haystack process. Maya Jean, completely different experience.
Yeah.
You've been a part of the Young Company for a number of years.
Yeah.
Can you talk about what your journey has been here?
Yeah. So my freshman year, I was part of Only Shakespeare for Kids. So I was just here for that kids show.
That's right.
But I still met so many incredible people and made connections. And my sophomore year, I was then part of the Fu Young Company, and I was in the Comedy of Errors community tour. I was in The Color Purple, and that was so awesome.
Yeah.
And I understudied for Merry Wives, understudied Anne Page.
Mm-hmm.
And last year, after my junior year, I was in the Much Ado community tour.
Yeah.
And I understudied Beneatha and Ruth in A Raisin in the Sun. Met more great people because this place is full of them. And I'm back here.
And we worked together
Juliet.
this fall.
And yes, we worked together this fall.
Yeah.
Since like January.
Yeah.
I spent many months with the text and Jason.
But even before that, just to say, like, I directed the Fantastics for Act 1.
Yeah.
And you auditioned.
University production.
It was
yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
let me
production.
talk about
That's
that.
so cool.
Yeah.
Yes, I auditioned with the Try to Remember reprise to be one of the mutes, and Jason was like, "Sing much more. What are we doing?
Like, why are you?
What are you doing?" And so then I did, and I was called back for Louisa, and then I got Louisa, and she makes me think of Juliet a lot. They're very similar. I love them both.
Well, I'm gonna tell a story that I don't think I told you a little bit of this, but I'm gonna tell you guys, and I'm gonna tell the podcast. So I knew we were doing Romeo and Juliet last year, and there were a few people that I was interested in, including Maboud Ebrahimzadeh, who is
for the role of Juliet.
Not for the role of Juliet, but we were talking about him playing Lord Capulet, and I had a conversation with him last year about playing Capulet. He was Guildenstern in last year's production of Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, and I've known Maboud for a number of years. And I was like, hey, I'm thinking about doing Romeo and Juliet. Would you be interested in playing Lord Capulet? And he was like, yeah. And so we were having conversations for a while about what the family is, and very early on, I started thinking about, like, what if Maya Jane played Juliet? So then the question was, okay, so if Maya Jane's going to play Juliet, then what can I do to help make sure that she's set up for success as much as possible? Because we've had some years of working together in the young company, but Juliet, let's be honest, it's a heavy lift.
Mm-hmm.
It's a heavy lift for any actor. And so then what can we do to try to set Maya Jane up for success? And I was like, well, then I found out that I was going to be directing Fantastics. That was not in the cards. That was a last minute hire change because of a staff change that happened at the university. So then it was like, well, okay, if I'm going to be directing Fantastics, then you came in and I was like, if we work together and we can create some director-actor relationship, and I can see what's in there creatively and emotionally as Louisa, then can that get us started in the process of going into Juliet? So we hadn't committed to it, but it had been something, a kind of a thought experiment. So while we were in rehearsals for Louisa, I kept pushing, not in a bad way, but in a creative way, and as a director-actor, trying to, like, open you up a little bit, Maya Jane, to really have the emotional journey that Louisa is invited to have. And you started going there, and I was like, there it is. There's the Juliet. There's the Act 2 Juliet. I know I can see the Act 1 Juliet, but the Act 2 Juliet's the harder Juliet.
Yes.
It's the emotionally raw. So I was like, okay, there it is. So after that, I was like, there really wasn't much of a question for me anymore after that. And then we made the offer for you to play Juliet. And then we're like, okay, here's the text. Let's get together. And so we were, like, meeting on a regular weekly basis after the holiday break, just to kind of go through it and make sure we kind of understood what was going on, so that when you came into the room with everybody, you had the preparation, so you didn't have to feel unprepared, and then we could just jump in and play.
Right.
And I think that's what's happening now, is we're seeing the play because we've had the time to prepare for it.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I can't wait for audiences to see it.
Yeah, neither can I. Well, listen, folks, we have to get back into rehearsal in just a few minutes.
I know, darn it. We could do this all day. This is
know.
great.
But so let's just say, I'm going to wrap this up, one last question for each of you. For somebody who has, maybe they think they know Romeo and Juliet, maybe they think they've seen it before, why should they come see this production of Romeo and Juliet?
Because it's not the same.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say, I think it's going to surprise you, even still.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What if somebody who's heard of Romeo and Juliet, thinks they know, but they've actually never seen the play? Why should they come see this production of Romeo and Juliet?
It's rare to get this great group of actors together, and we have them, and they're all here together, making this story alive. That would be reason enough.
Yeah,
just this team at this time doing it in this way. Oh my gosh. Even with Devin's choreography, Cedric's music, our sets, our costumes, Jason at the helm.
That fight choreography from Kaiser
That fight,
amazing.
Yeah. Every element of this is going to be 10 out of 10. That's what would do it for me.
Don't miss it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, on that note, Maya Jane, Austin, thank you all very much.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
And that wraps up another episode of As You Mic It. A huge thanks to Maya Jean and Austin Nedrow for joining us today. Romeo and Juliet opens July 10th on our main stage, and remember to arrive early for our live prologue, 40 minutes before each performance. Hosted by Jason King Jones, this engaging introduction offers plot essentials, thematic touchpoints, and a few behind-the-scenes insights into our production. And for even more details on our Romeo and Juliet special event extras like epilogues, talkbacks, tickets, and more, check out our website at pashakespeare.org or by calling our box office at 610-282-WILL. That's 610-282-9455. For all of us here at As You Mic It and Pennsylvania Shakespeare Festival, thanks for listening, and we'll see you at La Buddha. Thank you for listening to As You Mic It, a Pennsylvania Shakespeare Festival presentation recorded on the beautiful campus of DeSales University. Our music is by Cedric Lamar, with hosts Jason King Jones, Kim Carson, and Connie Berenger. Our podcast intern is James Nardiello. For more information on our summer theater series, giving opportunities, tickets, and more, visit our website at pashakespeare.org. Be sure to like, subscribe, and we'll see you at La Buddha.
Legends, lovers, and timeless drama. It's all happening at PA Shakespeare Festival this summer. Join us for the Legends and Legacy season, celebrating our 35th anniversary. Subscriptions to the 2026 Summer Theater Series are on sale now. Get yours at pashakespeare.org. Behind every standing ovation is a network of patrons who know that theater changes lives. With tickets funding only half the cost, PSF counts on contributions to produce world-class theater, cultivate new audiences, and nurture future generations of artists. Give today at pashakespeare.org/support. Great theater is a collaboration both on stage and off.